Welcome to another episode of The Latest with Maya. Today, I am beyond excited to have a conversation with actor Sara Tomko. Sarah currently stars as Asta in Resident Alien, which is one of my very favorite shows. Thank you so much for being on my show.
I am so honored to be here, Maya. It was such a pleasure hearing from you and coordinating this interview today. I'm so excited to see what questions you got for me.
Thank you. Yeah, so let's get started. So, who has had the biggest impact on the person you have become?
Oh, wow. We're getting personal right off the bat. I love it, Maya. Oh man. The biggest impact. Okay, well, I'm going to say it's a combination of my husband and my parents. Um, I don't think that I would have been able to get as far in my life with as much gumption and grace without my mom and dad. They're a perfect pairing. My mom brings in the grace, my dad brings in the gumption and the drive. And they've always taught me to just be myself and be bold and be brave. And that is a huge part of why I was so attracted to Asta in the first place, because I think that's part of who she is as well. A mixture of drive and vulnerability. And then I'd say my husband for sure. His name's TJ, Theodore, Theo, Teddy Big Bang, whatever you want to call him. Um, he came into my life when I was really, I was in a real dark time in my life, and he sort of, instead of forcing me out of that darkness, he sat with me. He sat with me till I was ready, and that made a huge difference on trusting and feeling safe and feeling like I could learn to love again, because I was coming off of a bad breakup. And he's also my coach. He's my director. We met initially as friends on set on a project where he directed me, and he's an incredible director. He's an incredible actor. So by the time we finally actually started dating, we knew that we had a rapport, that we could trust each other in our work. And it just was a matter of, can we trust each other in our personal lives? But I mean, I use him for every audition, girl. I used him for us. He helped me get Asta on that self tape. And he's also, we're actually about to go film an indie film in Oregon. He's going to be in the film as well. And I'm going to be coaching him for a change. So it goes back and forth. It's just, he is so supportive of me. And he really believes in my talent. He really believes in me as a person. And I think that that has shaped, that kind of support and love from those three key people has really shaped my world.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great question. Thank you. I mean,
Oh,
I could
thank
I
you.
could go on for hours about all my best friends, my closest like women in my life, but that we don't have time for that today. So just
Yeah.
another day we'll have an interview just about the women in my life.
Yes, I was going to say I'd love to, yeah, do another interview about all the women in your life.
Yes. We could
Yeah.
do like an International Women's Interview Day.
Oh, yes, I love that idea. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So what motivates you even on days when you aren't really feeling it?
Wow, I love these questions. I don't get to
Thank
I normally have so
you.
many questions about the show and the character. I never get to get real personal. This is beautiful, Maya. When I'm not really feeling it, one of the biggest things that keeps me afloat is my spiritual practices. I am a big uh, believer in intuition, and I use tarot cards and runes. I believe I have spirit guides. I believe I'm that we're all being watched and held and protected. And so when I'm not feeling it, I just sort of lean into asking my higher power, my higher self,
Yeah.
this parallel universe version of me. What do I need? What do I need right now? And sometimes what I hear back is you need to rest, or you need to cry, or you need to eat, or you need to drink water, or you need to go outside. And I really do my best to listen to what my body needs and to give it what it needs
Yeah.
when it asks me to give it. Like I'm trying all the time to be in tune with what my body needs, because our body lines up with our brain and our heart and our spirit and our soul and our guts.
Yeah.
But I feel like our body more than ever gets neglected as sort of the last thing we think about. And I think when I am out of it or not feeling like going to work, um, I do a meditation, I take a break, I take a breather, and I remind myself that I don't have to move any faster than I can move. And I think it's a good practice
Yeah.
to remind yourself to slow down and that you're exactly where you're supposed to be and whatever you're feeling is correct. And so, when I was younger, I really struggled being my own best friend. But through my support of my therapists, different programs I've taken, my tarot cards, my spiritual practice, I've really found a real daily routine of self-love. And I think that that is key to being on this planet and having this human experience that is really, really layered and complicated and challenging.
Yeah.
And so I think some days we just need to be able to say, I don't know, and let it be
Yeah.
that. Like, we don't have the answers almost all the time. We think we do, but we don't. Like, every time you have imagined, Maya, like doing something and then you actually do it, it's never what you imagine. It's never ever what you imagine, because it can't be, because
Yeah.
you can't, your imagination is so like vast and colorful
Yeah.
and like I wish it could be like how beautiful your brain is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
never, it never turns out like that. So I think I've learned over time, when I'm disappointed or sad, vulnerable, when I'm going through a depression, a panic attack, anxiety, the best thing I can do is be kind to myself in that moment, because beating myself up about it ain't gonna help.
Yeah. Oh,
So that's and if I don't feel like doing something, I don't force myself to, and that can be hard sometimes when you're on set and you have to work.
yeah.
But I think there's a way you can kind of turn on the job in truth and turn off the voices in your head a little bit and
Yeah.
just relax into having fun again. Like, if
Yeah.
you can just get back to the truth of just breathing, letting go of control, and having fun, most of the time you just got to like turn the sound down on the brain, but it's easier said than done. And some days I can't do it. Like, there was an episode in season 1 where I have to fight with Harry in the living room. This is like, I think maybe one of the last episodes. It's either 9 or 10. And I had a moment in rehearsal where I made a mistake and I kind of beat myself up about it. And I couldn't get out of beating myself up about it. And all I could do was sort of use it, like, in the scene. I couldn't
Yeah.
deny that's how I felt, and I couldn't unfeel it. So I had to use it. And so a lot of what you see in that scene when I'm upset and frustrated is actually me being really frustrated with myself. I was using that to get through the scene, get through the workday. And I think that's all you can do. Like, you
Yeah.
can't put anything on it that's false. Otherwise, people will see right through that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, when
Yeah.
someone's not being honest.
Yeah.
And I don't ever want my work to look dishonest, you know?
Yeah. 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 Oh, I love that. Yeah. So what small things bring you joy on a daily basis?
Maya, I love these questions.
You.
First of all, my sweet little baby dog. We are a species that gets to have connection with an animal species, and I think it's fascinating. And speaking of mental health, so good for your mental health
Yeah.
because animals are just pure innocence and bring so much joy because they're just being themselves, and especially dogs. My
Yeah.
God, the unconditional love. My
Yeah.
little, she's a little chihuahua. And
Yeah.
she's 3 years old. Her name is
Oh.
Dove, like the bird.
Oh.
Um, and she brings me so much joy. I sometimes just, she brings me so much comfort too. Like on the days that I feel really sad, I can just kind of nuzzle my head in her body, in her skin, on, against her cheek, and I feel really
Yeah.
safe. And so I love her. She brings me so much. She's my little joy.
Oh.
Um, I love singing. I've been a singer all my life. Yeah, I kind of came out of the womb singing. Um, so something that I asked my dad in uh man, I'd say like how many years ago? I don't know, maybe 10 years ago, I asked him to teach me how to play guitar. And something I love doing is just picking up my guitar. I'm not an expert. I'd say I'm about an intermediate player. I can play enough notes to get through a song. I have enough understanding of rhythm and melody to like, have a vibe, but I'm not trying to be a musician or, doing it in public. It's more of something that really brings me like the strumming of a guitar really brings me back to center.
Yeah.
And it really brings me back to my truest vulnerable self. I think singing is really vulnerable. And I think actually, even if you're not a singer, pursuing singing, there's just no way that you can't sing a song you love without smiling. Like it's
Yeah.
just when you hear a song you love, that and dancing.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love to put on my AirPods and just dance around the room while I'm
Yeah.
cleaning, doing things. So I
Yeah.
say singing, dancing, it's just little ways you can bring joy into your life. And then going outside, I love the sun on my face. I love nature.
Yeah.
I love trees. Oh my God, I'm a tree hugger. So I don't think I go outside enough, especially at this time of year, because it's, even though it's LA, it's still pretty cold for us.
Yeah.
Um, but I do love going outside too. So that would be my other, like riding my bike. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I'm an
Yeah.
air sign. So just like wind in my hair, anything where I can get like that
Yeah.
nature around me is a good day.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I love that. Yeah. Yeah, my dog also brings me just so much joy.
Yeah.
And
What's your dog's name?
her name's Roni.
Zeroni?
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
Cute. Yeah, we got her during the pandemic. We got her right before I started radiation, and so she's just like my favorite thing in the world. She just snuggles with me all the time.
I bet she also like feels when you feel like, do you sense that she feels like your pain or like when you're having hard days? Like she
Yeah.
really is in tune with your body. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel that way
Yeah.
too with Dove. It's like I almost think sometimes Dove knows I'm upset before I'm upset. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah. Yeah.
she comes to me and starts licking my face and I'm like, what? And then I start crying.
Oh, yeah. I love that.
Love that you got a pandemic dog too. She was also
Yeah.
pandemic dog for us.
Oh.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, dogs are just the greatest.
they really are.
Yeah. So I am pop culture obsessed and go
Uh,
in stages of shows that I cannot stop watching. Is there a show that you are currently obsessed with?
Mm, I mean, I'm a Love is Blind girl. Okay. I think I was just, I turned to my husband last night and I said, babe, this show is so successful, A, because most of the people come on and really are looking for love, and it truly is an experiment in the human condition. But B, because of Nick and Vanessa, you know, like um it feels like they just have such a true like care and concern for the people. I even love how Vanessa will call people out on like bad behavior stuff. Like it just feels like they're mom and dad, but like in a
Yeah.
therapist. It just I just think it's such a beautiful. I don't feel that way about all reality television, but there's something about Love is Blind that really works for me. So I'm that resume that reunion. I couldn't think of the word. The reunion episode
Yeah.
last night was the best reunion I've ever seen. Like that was some high end drama. I'm a Love is Blind girl, but I also I really I really love getting into shows that sort of I love like I love a mini series, you know, like there's a show
Yeah.
called One Day on Netflix.
Oh, yeah.
I
I
love
that.
when you can
Yeah.
follow especially a female lead character
Yeah.
and you can see them in their like truth when no one's looking. I love
Yeah.
following a character kind of like day to day, just like day in the life of this person. I love
Yeah.
stuff like that. So
Yeah.
I'm currently watching One Day. I was a huge like Felicity fan back in the day. I loved, you know, that kind of female lead day in the life, you know, sort of
Yeah.
drama. Um, and that's yeah. So I'd say One Day and Love is Blind are my things right
Yeah.
now.
Oh, I love that.
I just watched The Curse too. I don't know if you've seen it. It
Oh,
is bonkers, but I absolutely love Benny Safdie and Nathan Fielder. They both co-wrote it. But especially Benny Safdie, like I just love the way he sees the world and the way he acts and directs at the same time. Like I just love it. So it's a bonkers show, but it is like
yeah.
that's another part of who I am. I'm bonkers too. So
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. Yeah. Yeah, my family and I watched One Day and we loved it. It's so good.
the
Um,
chemistry is so sweet and they're charming, and I love that lead actor as well. He was in White Lotus. He was
yeah.
wonderful in that. I loved the White Lotus. Like again, I'm a
Yeah.
sucker for a mini series. So you
Yeah.
can jump in and you can feel like you're in the world and
Yeah.
it's longer than a film and you feel like there's like a whole relationship you're having with these people, and then it's like it's over. You're like, oh, that was like a nice good book I read.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I love that. Yeah, there's this new mini series on Peacock called Apples Never Fall
I
that
just did the premiere for that.
Oh, really?
Yes, literally like 2
Oh,
nights ago, I saw the pilot because they invited me, NBC invited me to the premiere. And I got to get all dressed up and like they had a green carpet, which was really fun to, you know,
yeah.
sort of an homage to green apples,
Yeah.
um, to pay homage, I should say. And it was lovely. It's like a tennis murder mystery. Well, we don't
Yeah.
know if it's murder or not, like some sort of mystery is
Yeah.
happening. And like Annette Bening and Sam Neill are so charming. And have you read the
Yeah.
books? I heard they're based on books.
Oh, I didn't know that. I haven't read the books.
I've heard the books are so great, so I might that might be a good
Oh,
summer beach book, but I am looking
yeah.
forward to seeing. I only got to see the first episode and I don't know what's going to happen. So I'm looking forward to seeing like who done it, what happened to Annette Bening, what's going on, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, my mom and I just started it last night and we are hooked.
Well,
So
you've seen as much as I've seen.
yeah.
I don't know what's gonna happen, but
Yeah.
it's enough that you're like, and like, no spoilers, but like, let's be honest, when
Yeah.
that girl knocked on the door,
Yeah.
we were all a little sketchy, right?
Yeah.
We were all like, what's going on there?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Maya, you're with me.
Yeah. Yeah, my mom right away, she was saying something's up with her. I at first was still like I was still thinking it
Yeah,
was
sure.
another
Like,
character.
yeah. We don't know anything. They
Yeah.
haven't told you, like, we don't
Yeah.
know, but it just feels like something's off there,
Yeah.
right? Like, it just
Yeah.
feels, I kept being like, just shut the door, just be like, I'm so sorry. We'll call the police and maybe they can help. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
oh, we'll
Yeah.
see.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm so excited to see what happens with that. And I love so many of the people in it. So
Yeah, that's awesome.
yeah. Um so what movie or show do you find yourself quoting more often than you'd like?
Probably Goonies. Uh, my brothers and I watched
Yeah.
so many movies growing up, but Goonies was a classic staple in our family. And I quote that one. That's the kind of film that just lives in the psyche. So when you say almost anything, you can kind of translate it back to the film. Calling out to my friends, "Hey, you guys," like um,
Yeah.
the whipped cream, like I love the whipped cream where he just, oh, I'm so
Yeah.
depressed. Or it's cheese. Is it whipped cream or is it cheese whiz? I can't remember. There's just so many beautiful moments that are so random and
Yeah.
simple and subtle in that film that
Yeah.
I will like, I'll just be in the kitchen chopping carrots and or whatever, and I will think of that. Or I actually have a little I have a little Christmas ornament of the Fratellis. The Fratellis are like
Yeah.
little pictures on my Christmas tree,
Yeah.
which is really cute.
Yeah.
Um, I also love the random part where he starts singing. One of the Fratelli brothers starts singing, and then a chunk goes, that,
Yeah.
that is not even lines. That's not even dialogue, but I will sing and scream at the same time on a random, just like in the middle of like getting gas in my car. So yeah, I think Goonies has stuck with me way longer than I even thought possible. Also, I quote Labyrinth a lot. I loved Labyrinth. I don't know if you've ever seen it, but it's
I haven't.
I think you love it. It's a fantasy with Jennifer Connelly and David Bowie, and she's looking for her baby brother, and he's like stowed her baby brother away in the middle of the labyrinth at this castle, and she's got to find her way through the labyrinth to get her baby brother back. And David Bowie plays this Goblin King, and it's such a great film, and I quote that movie a lot too. Uh, I won't bore you with all those quotes, but yeah. Anyway, those are probably, I'm an 80s baby, so those are
Yeah.
always like right there. They
Yeah.
come to the forefront pretty
Yeah.
easily.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. Yeah, there was one summer my mom showed my sister and I all these different 80s movies and we just became obsessed with them because she like raised us on 80s music and
Yes,
so
Ma.
yeah.
Love that. Have you guys seen Never Ending Story?
Oh, I no, I don't think
I'm gonna have
we
to make you a list, okay? And you
okay.
tell your mom, hey, it's time for Never Ending Story, Labyrinth, Goonies, maybe some
We have
Edward Scissorhands.
yeah, we have seen Goonies,
Okay.
so
Well, Goonies
Yeah,
is like, it's hard not to watch that one because it's so
yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I remember there was this um show that we all love called there's this show we all love called Psych. Um
yeah.
that they had a whole episode where they made all these different 80s or movie references from
Yes,
the
yes.
80s, and my sister and I never got them, and then my mom showed us all the movies, and then we went
Ah,
back and watched that and finally got all the references.
yes, yes.
So
Love that. Love that. I'm so proud of your
yeah,
mom. You tell her, good job. She's doing good over there.
I will tell her. Thank you. Um, yeah. So I just have two more questions for you, if that
Okay.
works. Um, so what is your proudest accomplishment so far?
Wow. You know, the first thing that comes to mind is paying off my debt.
Mm,
I came into this business, I have made my career from scratch. Nobody in my family has ever pursued acting as a career. I didn't know what I was doing. I just sort of knew how much I loved acting in film and TV and theater, and how much I wanted to always be like Jennifer Connelly in The Labyrinth.
yeah,
And I showed up to LA, and you kind of have to fake it till you make it, which involves putting a lot of money on credit cards
mm,
and pretending like you
yeah,
have money when you don't, because you
mm,
have to pay for this travel or this audition or this outfit or this, I mean, there's
mm,
so much debt that's accrued in the beginning of your career. And, the beginning of my career was a solid, I don't know, 15 years before, let's see, I moved here in 2007, and I booked my biggest book to date was Resident Alien, which was 2018. So um it's about 11 years really.
mm.
But I would say, is it? Wait, let's think. That's longer than that. Wait. I'm trying to think about like from the first moment too that I booked, because like just because you moved to LA in 2007 doesn't mean I booked anything right away. You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah,
the first 2 or 3 years I was just waitressing and like trying to audition. But I can't remember when my first actual gig was. So I don't know. We'll just say 11 years
okay,
from start to, and that's a lot of time to only be, my only real source of income besides credit cards was waitressing. And I did my best to stay afloat and pay my rent and buy my groceries and have a roof over my head. But I accrued a lot of debt in that 11 years. And so I didn't actually even fully pay it off until season two, actually at the end of season one. And actually, I booked the pilot and I didn't leave waitressing for a year after I booked the pilot, because you don't ever know if you're going to get picked up. So it was a
yeah,
year before we knew that we were going to get picked up for season one. So I kept waitressing because I just like couldn't rely on just the
yeah,
hope that it would happen.
yeah,
So I'd say those, it goes hand in hand. It's like paying debt and leaving waitressing for good were two of my most proud accomplishments, because
yeah,
um without getting too emotional, I made them happen for myself. I worked really, really hard. I worked really hard to grind it out, and I was a waitress for 20 years. Like I was waitressing before I even got to LA.
yeah,
And to finally be able to land a dream job, and then by the end of that first season pay off my debt, it
yeah,
felt like a weight taken off my shoulders from an 11-year-old rock just
yeah,
on my shoulders that I'd been carrying, and I didn't know I was carrying it. And to anybody who's listening out there, like if you have any sort of a giant debt, just know that it won't always be that way, and that eventually you will get out from under that rock and you will breathe again.
Yeah.
It just takes a long time, and you really have to be patient with the process and just keep focused on the goal at hand at the end of the finish line. And I always stayed focused on that being a huge thing I wanted to do in my life.
Yeah.
So that
Yeah.
that's my
Yeah.
long answer. I'm sorry.
No, I love that. And yeah, that is yeah, very, very impressive. And yeah.
It's small potatoes compared to, maybe an Olympian or someone who saves the life of a child or something. It's small potatoes, but it meant a lot to me,
Yeah,
right? When I could stand on my own 2 feet and say, I did this and I
yeah,
did this on with support of many others, but like on my own in the sense of like
yeah,
paving that path and staying the course. So
yeah, yeah. Oh, I love that. Yeah, so my final question for you is so I love inspiring and motivational quotes, and this week my favorite quotation is you can't always have a good day, but you can always face a bad day with a good attitude. Is
wow, I love that.
there yeah, is there a quotation that has inspired you lately?
First of all, thank you for sharing that quote with me. That is so true, and I will think about that for the rest of the day. I'm going to face my day with a good attitude. Thank you. Yes,
Yeah,
I love quotes. I love I write poetry. I love poems. I love
yeah,
quotes. I love words as a way to visualize what to put it on the page of what
yeah,
I'm feeling. I think the quote that sticks with me a lot lately is you cannot push the river. And that is a giant metaphor for you can't force anything to happen quicker than it's already happening. Like the river flows at its own pace. You cannot make it go any faster. All you can do is just get in it and let it take you where it's going to take you, however long it takes you to get there, with whatever tempo it takes you to get there. Like
yeah,
you have two choices, either get in the river or get out, but you cannot push the river.
yeah,
And that is a quote that I learned from my rune book, my book of runes, which is a
yeah,
really ancient um, practice of listening to your intuition, like we talked about at the beginning of the interview. And it's something that I think in some way, shape, or form, I'm going to have tattooed on my body because it's a great reminder that time is on your side.
yeah,
Even if it feels like it is not, it is because everything happens in its right time. And on the days that I feel anxious about time, when I have time anxiety specifically, I really try to just lean into that. And I actually use that as a mantra. And I say to myself, you cannot push the river. You cannot push the river.
yeah. Oh, I love that. Yeah,
Thank you. I mean, it's not
yeah,
mine, but I certainly am happy to pass it on to you,
yeah,
that good medicine.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Thank
nothing
you.
we
Yeah,
can do about time. Time is not under our
yeah,
control,
yeah,
as most things aren't,
yeah,
so
yeah, definitely. Yeah, there were a couple, yeah, times that I was like getting really frustrated with things, feeling like I was like falling behind, and my sister was just like, she basically said about like, it'll happen when it happens. You're not behind. It's just your time is coming. And yeah,
I love that she encouraged you. And also, I
yeah,
hope that that sticks with you, this image of a river. Whenever you're feeling
yeah,
anxious, just imagine floating in the water, like let it take you wherever it takes you, however long it takes you to get there.
yeah, yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. I mean, it's something I have to do on the daily. So,
Yeah,
for the river.
yeah. Yeah. Well, Was so much fun talking with you. I have just had the best time. I could just keep talking to you. So
Yeah,
thank
I would
you.
love to talk to you again, maybe when Apples Never Fall ends, or
Oh,
maybe at
yeah.
some point for like a, like we said, an International Women's, that,
Yeah.
that day. I think that's just passed, hasn't it? Like International Women's Day. Yeah, it was
Yeah. it-
March 8th. But
yeah.
anyways, maybe sometime in the future we can
Yeah.
get together and have another chat, because I love chatting with
Yeah.
you.
I,
You're a
I would love that.
light in this world, and I appreciate you.
Oh, thank you so much. That means the world. I've just had the best time talking with you, and I would love to have another conversation with you in the
Oh,
future. Um,
yeah,
I so appreciate your taking the time, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.
thank
Um,
you. You
yeah,
as well. I appreciate
thank
you
you.
having such great questions. Thank you
Oh,
so much.
thank you. Thank you. Yeah, and that's a wrap on today's edition of the latest with Maya.